Welcome back to this channel. So today we're going to be treating a very important topic in the trading system, which is supply and demand, and this is the full course for the supply and demand on my Discord channel. Okay, so this is what I offer to my paid or VIP student. Precisely, this is what I offer them, and I'm going to be giving out this for free. Okay, absolutely free. Okay, no payment. And all I just want you guys to do is to learn from it, backtest it at least 100 times, and make sure these things are giving you the exact things I am saying on this video right now. Okay, now on the topics to cover, these are the topics we're going to be covering for today's supply and demand lectures, okay, or PDF, whatever you call it. Okay, these are the topics to cover. So today we're going to be covering support and resistance, what a supply zone is, what is a demand zone, how to use a supply and demand zone, how to place trades with supply and demand zone. So without wasting much of your time, let's head on to the first thing we're going to be treating today, because we don't have much time and I want this video to be short and quick as possible. Okay, support and resistance. Support and resistance are areas where prices of a particular instrument has rejected or reacted in the past and could make significantly same move in the future. We map out this area to be fully aware of the zone. So on our chart, we ought to know the support and resistance where prices are, probably in a support area or a resistance area, according to a specific time frame. Okay, you don't use support and resistance for a 4 hour to analyze a 1 hour or a 30-minute. Okay, it's just good to be aware of the higher time frames, and you can do other things, or you can do your price action on other time frame you feel comfortable with, or as giving you high probability or high chances of positive results. Okay, so let's dive into the chart and let's look at support and resistance zones. Now on this chart right now, we are on the Euro USD, so we're trying to look for the support and resistance zone, and we're on the 4 hour time frame. So we're going to be looking at the support and resistance zone for the 4 hour time frame, and also for the 1 hour time frame, and probably we'll look for 15 minutes time frame and all. Okay, so let's start with the 4 hour time frame. Okay, so on the 4 hour time frame, we can see this area which prices started buying and went up, and you can see that prices just broke down this support area. Okay, prices broke that support area, so prices broke this support area, making here a resistance and here our latest support area. Okay, so on our 4 hour time frame, we have this area as our support, so we're going to be writing support. Okay, and we're going to be writing resistance on this other area. Okay, so we're going to be having resistance here. So network is trying to act funny, but then we do continue with the lecture as well. So now it's back up, so we have the resistance at this area, of course. Okay, so since we have the support at the down area and we have the resistance here, this is what the 4 hour support and resistance actually looks like. Okay, now what makes this area a support, because we're looking at this place to get possible buy, and we're looking at this area to get possible sells. Okay, so that's what you should be looking at on a support and a resistance area. Okay, for a resistance area, you should be looking to get possible sell, and for a support area, you should be looking to get possible buy as well. Okay, now this is what the 4 hour support and resistance area would look like. So we dive into the 1 hour time frame. So we're going to be taking this thing carefully to understand. Okay, now on the 1 hour time frame, we have this high, we have this low, we have this high, we have this low, and we have this high. Okay, now looking at this 1 hour time frame, we can see that this was our last resistance area and this was our last support area. Okay, I'm sorry for that. So this was our last support area. Okay, now as soon as prices broke down this support, we got this area as our latest support area. Okay, and we also broke our resistance area, which makes this area the recent resistance area. So we'll be looking at prices, we'll be looking at the resistance here, and we'll be looking at the support here for the 1 hour time frame. So this is what the 1 hour time frame is showing us. It's showing us that we have our resistance here. So let me map this out, so for those that won't really understand. So this is the resistance here, and we have clearly the support at this area here. Okay, so this is our resistance for 1 hour, and this is our support for 1 hour. So we expect prices to at least come back here and show signs of buying. And if we come back here and we go back here, we expect signs of selling, but we need to wait for other confirmations to get into the trade with those things. So let's move on to the next topic, since we understand what support and resistance actually looks like. Okay, now what is a supply zone? A supply zone or supply zones are formed when prices make a break of structure, which is the BOS, breaks and closes below recent swing low and leaving an imbalance zone to fill up. That zone left unmitigated is said to be a supply zone. Okay, so when the prices are making a bullish movement and it breaks the recent swing low and leaves an imbalance, that area left unmitigated is identified as a supply zone. Okay, so let's take some examples here and see what it looks like. So what I'm trying to tell you is that let's take an example that we're having this bullish movement this way, and all of a sudden we break down this bullish movement, okay, leaving an imbalance around this zone. So we call here imbalance. So leaving an imbalance around this zone, this area left unmitigated is a supply zone. So the area left unmitigated is known to be a what? A supply zone. So we call here an imbalance area. I'm sorry. So this area makes a supply zone once we have a bullish structure. Like I said, it needs to break below what? When we have a break of structure, like I explained, this is what a break of structure would actually look like. So if we break this structure, and this is our recent swing low, if you check what our support and resistance is, so if you check the previous thing I've said before going into this topic, you will understand what a support and resistance is. So I said if we break and close below this zone, leaving an imbalance, this place is said to be a supply zone. So we expect prices to at least go back to this area and sell off, okay, in most cases, but for some reasons it might not react that way, and those reasons I would make known in this video or probably the next video. Okay, now that is what a supply zone actually looks like. Okay, so let's go to the chart and check out some supply zones. Okay, now let's check for the 4-hour time frame. Now look at this area, that prices broke down. Okay, this area was broken, so we had this high and we had this low, okay, leaving this clear imbalance. Okay, it's leaving this imbalance area. Okay, so as soon as the prices returns back to that imbalance area, we had that area to be a supply zone. Okay, so this is what I mean by a supply zone, leaving an imbalance. Now if you don't understand what imbalance means, this is a clear example of imbalance: two candles that refuse to meet each other with their wick. So that's what an imbalance means. Okay, so prices need to fill in this unmitigated area and supply down. Okay, so this is what a supply zone will actually look like in most cases. Okay, now let's go to the next topic. Okay, now what a demand zone would be. Okay, a demand zone or demand zones are formed when prices make a break of structure and closes above recent swing high, leaving an imbalance zone to be filled up. That zone unmitigated, or that zone left unmitigated, is said to be a demand zone. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is that in a berry structure, so if we've got a berry structure this way and prices are just selling off, immediately prices closes above this swing high, recent swing high level, this zone here is said to be a what? A demand zone. So we expect prices to come and fill in this area and buy up. Okay, now let's take some examples on the chart. Okay, and let's see what it actually looks like. Okay, now we swing over to the 1 hour time frame. So let's look for demand zone. That's where I found my recent demand zone. Now as soon as prices went up this way, it broke this structure, forming a break of structure like I said. Now prices now closed above this recent swing high, okay, giving us what? This zone. So this zone is a demand zone, and this zone is also a what? A demand zone. As you can see, prices came, tapped into this demand zone, refused to tap into this one, and started going our way. So that is what a demand zone actually look like. And we're going to move over to the next topic, which is what? How to use supply and demand zone. So we're going to be talking how to use we're going to be discussing how to use this zone. Okay, first thing I said, map out the demand and supply area created after the move. Okay, so in this area we map out what? This demand area that was created. So we call this zone a demand zone. So this is our demand zone newly created, so we call this zone a demand zone as well. So let's assume that we've mapped out this zone created. Okay, so the next thing, we wait for prices to get to the mapped zone and use a 2-time lower time frame to monitor the market. Okay, so this is a lot the mistake a lot of people make. They want to take all supply and demand zone aggressively, which is absolutely wrong. Okay, you are doing it the wrong way. Okay, you wait for prices to get to that demand zone. As you can see, as prices broke this area at this range, yeah, we waited for prices to return back to this demand zone. This was the return. Okay, now we go into a lower time frame, much more lower time frame, let's say the 15-minute time frame. Okay, now this is it. Okay, this is what it looks like on the 15-minute time frame. Okay, so we wait for this. Okay, what is the next thing? Then what? We wait for a reaction, which is a break of structure and a change of character, to indicate that price will still move in your intended direction. This will help increase your chances of making the right decision, and also aid in reducing your risk exposure. Okay, so using a 2-time lower time frame will what? Help in what? Giving you a reassurance that the trend is still going to go in your intended direction, and it's going to give you it's not going to expose you to the market like having too many stop loss. Let's say you want to enter here, you want to put your stop loss at the swing low, but for some reasons I do like putting my stop loss here, but you most likely want to put it at the swing low, which is exposing you to 42% 42 pips stop loss, which is not really great. Okay, so you want to look for a way to reduce these things. Okay, so in case it doesn't go in your direction, you lose a little, and once you get a nice trade, you can easily recover from the loss you've gotten yourself into. So you want to wait for a break of structure and a change of character. Okay, so let's go. So we have this break of structure here, looking tiny but reasonable, and we have this change of character at this level. Okay, so what are we going to be looking for? Since we are looking for buys, we're going to be looking for prices to go above this area. Okay, so once prices go above this area, now prices has gone above this area and close. Okay, now what really happened is that prices refuse to do what? To come back and pick any of these zones to continue our what? Intend movement. Okay, and prices also made another what? Break of structure at this level. Okay, for some reasons, you understand, prices might not tap into your zone to pick that price, but we were expecting prices to at least return to any of these zones, tap into these zones, and continue our bullish movement. Okay, so this is a typical example of how to do it. Okay, instead of you entering aggressively, I know you would say, if I had entered aggressively, I wouldn't have missed the opportunity and so, but the problem is that you'll be exposed to too many risks. Okay, and that is not good. Okay, in case the trade doesn't go in your intent direction, you would be feeling really terrible. Okay, you'll be feeling really terrible. Okay, so you try to minimize your risk exposure. Okay, so this is actually how to do it. Okay, in most cases it's going to reverse, but for some cases your order blocks might not get mitigated and prices will just keep going in your intent direction, making you to lose out on the trade. Okay, so I did a video about aggressive entering and confirmation entering, so you can go and check out that video and listen to what I've said. So I said a lot of things there that it depends on you, and if you are willing to risk what you are seeing there. Okay, so if you are willing to risk what you are seeing there, no problem and all. Okay, so now let's go to the next one, how to place your trade. Okay, how to place trades with demand and supply zone. Okay, I said after confirming on the lower time frame, you wait for prices to get to the supply and demand zone. So you use your Fibonacci tool to get an accurate area, place a buy or sell limit, and put your stop loss above or below swing level according to the direction, and target 3 times your stop loss. So now that takes you back to this. Okay, so if you were going to enter aggressively on the 1 hour time frame, are you gonna actually make 3 times your stop loss? So let's check. So if your stop loss happens to be here, 3 times your stop loss would be here. Okay, so let's say 3:1 would be somewhere here. Okay, so for now you haven't really made 3 times your stop loss. So if you are to enter aggressively and expose yourself to 42 or 44 pips, you'll be targeting 136. Probably you might be lucky, this might just go in your intent direction, or if you're someone that wants to close 2 times your profit, this should be like 2 times your stop loss. So this approximately 2 times your stop loss, you would have closed your margin. But I recommend 3 times your stop loss, but for some reasons you might just close 2 times your stop loss in case of a reversal. And as you can see right now, this is close to a swing high, which we expect sell on the 4 hour time frame. So it's advisable you close right now and allow it. Okay, so this is how to take a supply and demand zone, and this is how to use it the appropriate way. So I showed you everything on this chart, and if you need more videos like this, make sure you comment and let us know, and we're going to be making much more videos like this. Thank you.